Let's review some of the code we've entered into the viewDidLoad method, especially the part about setting a timer. As you recall, we were in mainViewController.m and we had added code to the viewDidLoad method. Here's the viewDidLoad method. We of course had set the background color for the view, and here we scheduled a timer, NSTimer. So let's look a bit closer at this. We used the scheduled timer with time interval target selector user info repeats method, and we use it with NSTimer. This method creates and returns a new NSTimer object and schedules it on the current run loop in the default mode. Now, what does this mean? Well, you use the NSTimer class to create timer objects, or more simply, timers. A timer waits until a certain time interval has elapsed and then fires, sending a specific message to a target object. A lot of times you might use an NSTimer that sends a message to a window telling it to update itself after a certain time interval. And we're going to use it for animation. Since it is using the current run loop, in other words, piggybacking off the loop already established in the template, we don't have to create a run loop. We can simply create a method that handles the message we receive from the timer. Scheduled timer with time interval .5. Here's what's going on. 0.5 is the number of seconds between firings of the timer, so that's half a second. The target set to self is the object which you send the message specified by @selector here when the timer goes. So that message gets sent to the target, which is self, which is our own main view controller. The selector on timer is the message to send to that target when the timer fires. We will have to create an on-timer method in this target, our main view controller, which is this file, and we've already done that down here. Now, we started it here, and we're going to finish it now. So as you can see up here again in viewDidLoad, we have our timer. We've set it to send the message on timer to the main view controller. Our user info is nil, and that really means that we have no user info for the timer. Repeats is set to yes. That's because we want it to repeat as an animation loop. Now you specify whether a timer is repeating or non-repeating when you create one. A non-repeating timer fires once and then invalidates itself automatically, therefore preventing the timer from firing again. A repeating timer always schedules itself based on the scheduled firing time, as opposed to the actual firing time. For example, if a timer is scheduled to fire at a particular time and every 5 seconds after that, the scheduled firing time will always fall on the original 5-second time intervals, even if something happens and the actual firing time gets delayed. So if the firing time is delayed, so far that it passes one or more of the scheduled firing times, then the timer is fired only once for that period. The timer is rescheduled after firing for the next scheduled firing time in the future, and the original 5-second time intervals. But we also use the viewDidLoad method to set the view's background color and to set up falling words into NSString object to hold the string, which we initialize with the words peace on earth right here. And we initialize the speed property to be a value of 10. Next, we created a portrait banner view. That was by setting it to the current content size identifier to be add banner content size identifier portrait. This is the proper way to do this to ensure that ads are displayed properly, because a banner view must always be sized to match one of the built-in advertising sizes. And in this case, we are building an app that shows only portrait orientation, at least for ads. I also use CGRect offset to move the banner up 50 pixels above the top of the view. This is because I want to be able to hide the banner if the user has seen the same one for more than 30 seconds. And as you'll recall, we added these banner view control methods. Banner view didLoad ad, which sets the CGRect offset to 50 so that we can view the ad again and the banner is visible, and hide banner, which sets the CGRect offset back to -50 so that it rolls back up above the top of the view, and then the banner is not visible. Finally, we need to add one more statement here in the viewDidLoad method, and that is we need to add to the self view a subview banner view, and that makes sure that banner view is added as a subview to the view.